Hello.
Carolyn.
Whoa, Carolyn's here.
She is on it.
She's on it. She's on it. She wants some more of it.
Do, 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 do. I don't
Do,
know.
do, 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 do. Let the boys be boys.
I don't know what things are.
Oh, happy Friday.
It's Friday.
Welcome
I thought
to
yesterday
Friday.
was Wednesday all day.
It was the day before.
I know. So I was half right.
Jenica, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you. Sunshines. And happiness.
Sunshines. Morning time.
Morning time.
What are they doing?
What are they doing? So you know what I did yesterday? I took so if you watch us, you see us do these cards and stuff, these salad cards. I took out my favorite ones and put them into one deck.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
Hey, Eileen. Hey, Kennykins.
Kennykins. Happy Friday.
Vitamins K and T.
I don't know what the yesterday was.
It was Wednesday. I'm convinced.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
I lost a day this week somewhere. Yeah. So I think my Wednesday I just didn't exist anymore. Yesterday, I came back into myself and I just started learning stuff. I went online, I went on YouTube, I listened to a bunch of Alan Watts stuff.
Yeah, stuff started filling in.
Yeah, Todd wrote 4 blogs yesterday.
I did in a very short time, and they were good.
They were pretty big too, 1,000 words each.
Yeah, they're about that. Yeah, at least, yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, when the rave comes, you got to ride it, man.
That's right.
Because you don't know what tomorrow's energy is going to be like.
Yeah, that's kind of how we definitely do things. Is that if today, we if you feel good, get all the stuff done that you either don't normally want to do, or for me anyway, I'll either get stuff done, or I'll just feel the peacefulness and happiness of not having to be something and do something.
Yeah.
And, this morning I forgot. I was almost, hey, Louisa. Hi, nice to see you.
Hey.
Talk about positive person.
Positive.
Yes.
Positive lady.
Yes. Make Kind Loud is her thing, so go and check her out. She is.
Does she have a website?
Incredible. I know that she has a Facebook page. Louisa, please feel free to pop it in here into the comments. Definitely want to
the URL
promote what you've got going on, because she is
a ball of energy.
Powerhouse. A love light. Oh, thank you, Louisa.
Oh, good.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Yes,
Didn't
definitely.
know you were watching. Awesome.
Yay. Download for sure. Yes.
Yeah, there was a big integration or something, and then the cork popped right back up again.
Yeah.
And then it started filling in, and we just got productive.
Yeah. Yeah. And I started doing the things that make me happy, like qigong, and
I started exercising again.
For real exercising. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's I don't know what all that is about.
Better self-care.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I just think the ego got vacuumed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I needed a little
toning.
pop.
Little pop. Pop and lock.
Yep. Here's her thing. Make Kind Loud. Just go and pop it into your Facebook and search bar, and you will find it, or you can find her under Louisa Garrett. Thank you so much. I'm blushing. Well, you deserve really good things, Louisa. The kinds of things that you bring to every day. She posts something, a video, bringing a positive awareness to the day.
Yes.
Even when she's having a bad day, she's honest. She's upfront. That deserves to be applauded for all of us. if we can dig deep in times of trouble, not say that necessarily that's what she's doing, but in general, we can dig deep and show up the best way we can. That's pretty good. We're doing all right. All right. Well, let's
start with one of your critical thinking cards.
You want to do critical thinking? Ooh.
Yeah, we've done a lot of the other ones.
Yeah. We've done a lot of those.
I feel lots of good stuff ready to come through.
Slippery slope. This one is good. Asserting that if we allow A to happen, then Z will consequently happen too. Therefore, A should not happen.
And in parentheses, it says, drinking alcohol without eating first.
It's a slippery slope.
Slippery slope.
At least in your 40s, for sure.
Slippery slope, asserting that if we allow A to happen, then Z will consequently happen too, and therefore A should not happen. Colin asserts that if we allow children to play video games, and the next thing you know, we'll be living in a post-apocalyptic zombie wasteland with no money for guardrails to protect people from
slippery slopes.
Oh man, I think that there's another contemporary word for that called catastrophizing.
Catastrophizing, yeah, and that to me is really, really cool to have awareness of. Is that if you hear someone going into that fallacy or into that pattern, you can say, how do you know that's absolutely true?
Right.
What would happen if that weren't true? Not to challenge them as a person, but to say, wait a minute, I don't know that I believe that. It's okay for us to not believe the same way other people believe, especially when it's a fallacy. Another thing that our ego likes to do here as well is to follow the issue to death. So if I were thinking about I want to open a business, and my ego might pop up and go, well, if you do this and that, or what if this happens or that happens, what if it doesn't work, what if it falters, what if you can't make it happen, what if this, blah, blah. What if? Yeah, but. Yep. And we say, but that's fine. Like there's always a risk in something, in doing anything that matters in this world. At the same time, it's a trick. It's a trick of the ego. So all we really do is we can be honest with ourselves and like, oh yeah, those are definitely things that can happen. And this is how I would like to resolve that. This is how I would like to think differently about that. This is how I'd like to feel differently about that. And then inch our way back from the slippery slope and say, where would I like my thinking to be? Where would I like to feel better about this? And then that kind of takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails of the ego. But like I said earlier, I was listening to Alan Watts, and one of the things that he said was that we don't wrestle our thoughts to the ground. Essentially, we don't try to pretend like they don't exist. It's important that we work with them in a way that's more productive, more resourceful. And we say, well, what if that doesn't happen? Do we know that's absolutely true that will happen? Have we seen evidence where that hasn't happened? People have been wildly successful at that particular business or stepping into that particular future or that particular thing. Where have we seen it be successful and not allowing the ego to take us out with that slippery slope thinking?
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. And you're challenging the belief, not the person.
Yeah.
You're not being combative. If they're coming to you for help as a holistic practitioner or future hypnotherapist, in your case, then you're doing them a favor, because they're coming to you because they have unproductive beliefs, or they've manifested something that they don't like as a result of thinking in error. So yeah, it's totally appropriate to respectfully question whatever the belief is, especially if it's unproductive or if it's catastrophizing in nature. It's like, well, what do you think that way with everything, or just with this thing? If A happens, then B is going to happen. Well, is that everything in every category? I mean, that would make someone self-destruct, I think.
Yes.
You know?
I don't think we ever would have survived evolution.
Yeah, right.
If that were the case.
You know, it's like, hey, I'm a fish. Now I'm crawling on land. Oh, that's not going to work.
That's not going to work
I'm
out.
just going to go back to the water.
Get back in the water.
Yeah, there's so many fun ways
Seems
to
too hard.
debunk false beliefs that are in error, and even positive beliefs can be. I mean, they're serving you, but they are also placeholders.
Mhm.
You know, so there's a lot of ways, and if you watched our other videos, there's lots of cool ways to, like with the other solid cards that we've read, where we ask different questions that are belief buster cards. You can ask these things to clients and challenge the way that they're thinking about something. And sometimes, I'd say a lot of times, it's a small adjustment. You know, it's a small adjustment, to make an insight. Oh, you know what? I never thought of it that way before. And that's often the response I used to get.
Me too.
You know, just introducing another way of looking at it, it can be enough to have a big shift, especially if people are coming to you because they want a shift. You know,
yeah, they're open to new ideas.
Right.
And if you're in a nice, gentle rapport with someone, meaning you think they hung the moon, okay, like really connect with them and see them for who they really are. When you really connect with them and you start opening their ideas and mind to these types of potential shifts in belief and limiting thinking, we always know the truth. You know, we know the truth. That negativity might be realistic. It may have happened to people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's them. So it's cool because we do know the truth, and we want our 95% of us wants to play. That's the subconscious mind. It wants to play. It wants to engage. It wants to become inspired. It wants to feel good. It wants to be happy. And so when you are challenging this negativity, you're challenging the ego and saying, wait a minute, is that really true? And the ego cannot keep up that falsehood for very long if you're continuing to show it the truth.
Right.
And that's very loving and empowering for your clients.
Because the ego never considers itself, and where two or more agree, the ego cannot stand. So absolutely, that makes a huge difference. What else did you say just now?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Let's rewind.
I think you said something.
It was Mark, I think.
It's not about what happens. It's about what you think about what happens.
Yes.
So, yes. So, I mean, yeah, some people go through horrific circumstances, and then eventually they transform from them. And some people go through horrific circumstances and they don't, or they. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, how much does the ego come in and make an identity out of pain?
Right. And
I think that can be a slippery slope because, and I've done it. We've all done it, and if you've done it for long enough, I mean, if it doesn't serve you, then you eventually pop out and you're like, you know what? Damn it. I have got to try something else here.
Yeah.
And then you do, and then you adopt it and you're like, oh, good. Look at that. I'm allowed to make choices.
Yeah.
But it really gets hairy if that ego gets in there and, tries to make an identity out of the pain. And then it's like, well, I am my pain. I am my pain. Like Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
I need my pain. Old movie reference. But so it's really important not to allow that fear-based ego mind to come in and hijack our experiences and try to tell us who we are and make meaning out of something when we are guiltless and innocent.
Yes.
And lovable and acceptable. Holy Spirit's going to use anything to transform us. Ego is going to use anything to keep us stuck.
Yeah.
To keep us stuck.
Truly.
And if you're feeling bad, then somewhere in the back of your mind, there's something you're believing that is causing you to stay there, And John L. used to say, what am I believing right now? Just ask yourself that. What am I believing right now? Well, why am I feeling like crap? Well, I'm believing that my situation's never going to change. I'm believing that, well, what choices do you have around that? Well, I can choose this. I can go look online at jobs. I can network. I mean, what can you do? How can you exercise choice? And as soon as you're considering choices, you are out of victimhood immediately.
As soon as you are considering, you don't even have to make the choice.
You're not even making choices. You're just considering choices. You are out of victimhood.
You're out of powerlessness, which is at the very bottom of the Abraham's emotional scale.
Right.
Yeah. And then once you pop up, whoo, boy, watch out. Oh my gosh, look at who's visiting us.
Wow, Michelle Evans.
Michelle, hey. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let's see. Eileen reiterated, where two or more agree, the ego cannot stand. Whoosh. Whoosh.
Yeah.
Love it. This might be JG. Is it JG or is that who this is? Ooh, making identity out of pain. This makes sense. Who is our Facebook user there? Say it. Who are you?
It sounds like Gigi.
It does.
JG.
Let's see. Jenica. Pain will probably always exist, but living with it and moving on, not wanting to repeat the situation, is not healthy. Reprogram your choice to move out of the pain. It gets easier every time.
Yeah.
We're just looking this, and we would say Eileen is saying, fearless and innocent, lovable and capable. What great choice consideration. Pop out. Oh, it's Alicia. Hi, Alicia. Yay. Good to see you, darling. Yeah. Ooh, she's got a good book coming with some awesome authors. So very excited for that book. Let's see. So
another card.
I just want to reread Jenica's real quick. Yeah. Okay. People probably always do living with. Yeah. Yes. What you resist persists, right? So, pain will probably always exist, but if you don't acknowledge it, this is what I think she's saying. If you don't acknowledge it, because you're like, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen again. And you ignore it or you activate that energy of not wanting it to happen, we'll certainly call that to us, because we have to essentially, once we clear it out, it won't come back. It just won't. Different types of abuse. And I was abused by somebody. My next big relationship after that was just devoid of almost all emotion. Like, I didn't even love him very much. He didn't really love me very much. There was no passion. It was like that hard correct.
It's a very predictable pattern. If there's physical abuse in a relationship, the next relationship is with usually a very docile partner.
Yeah.
And the relationship is not very substantive, but it's safe.
Yeah, and it gets you over that hump.
Sure, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
No, it's
nothing wrong with it. It's nice. It's what the mind needs to create a safe space for itself.
Yeah. And it was a great thing for me to heal and see that relationships aren't violent. They don't have to be violent all the time. And but it eventually wasn't continued to be the right thing. So I was essentially trying to avoid a violent relationship by going into a relationship that wasn't actually passionate or interesting or truly loving and unconditional and all those kinds of things. So I was trying to avoid it, and but something else still came up in subsequent relationships afterwards, where I still had to deal with that issue. And then I met you.
Oh, how lovely!
And I'm happy about it. All right. Oh, we want to do another card? Where did I
Mm-hmm.
put the whole deck?
I'd see the box
Oh,
right
right
there.
here.
Oh,
Can we do that one?
that's similar to the other one.
Okay.
What are the different colors?
The colors are, this is the biases and this is fallacies. This is like kind of more like argument cards.
Do the yellow ones.
Okay. I mean, I don't know these cards very well, so I don't know. Let's see. Groupthink. You let the social dynamics of a group situation override the best outcomes. Dissent can be uncomfortable, and so often the most confident and most voice will determine group decisions. Try to facilitate objective means of evaluation and critical thinking practices as a group activity. That's kind of cool. It's like, not always having the same person in charge. That loudest, the squeaky wheel gets the oil kind of thing. Being aware of groupthink. And I think with our personality types, we don't tend to go into groups very often. We do create groups, because I think we like it. We like the interaction, we like the community, and we like serving the needs of the community. At the same time, I always think about it like this. I think about, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. I've loved that since I was a kid, and me and Todd's favorite movie as children was one of our favorite movies was Sword in the Stone.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I could quote that movie pretty much verbatim.
Oh yeah.
And sing all the songs.
Oh yeah.
But the thing that I love about that story of Arthur was that he created a round table so that every person, even though he was making that final decision, every single person, every one of his knights had a voice. And that, I get like, just talking about that makes me feel so good. Like it just feels so good for everyone to have that space to say what's on their mind, and having that person, that's a good leader, that's a positive influence, that wants good things to happen for the entire group and beyond that small community, making a difference in a bigger way, and how it affects everything else down the line it's just incredible. I don't know. It feels good to me.
And then wasn't the Templar Knights associated with that?
No, that was after.
Oh.
That was during the Crusades.
And then Templar Knights were about protecting the truth.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of knights around us today.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Champions of people. Yeah. All you guys watching.
Mm-hmm.
Even those of you that are watching on the replay, just because you're here and listening, I have a feeling you've got a lot that you're offering this world. Yeah. Yeah. I want to hug you too, Lisa.
We love you, Kyra Shaver. I want to hug you too. Inside joke.
The SNL sketch.
We love you, Carolyn.
We love you, Carolyn. Did you want to look at these? I'm just holding
them
in
I
my
remember
hand.
Groupthink was a thing that when I worked at the Career Center in college for a little while, one of the employees who was a doctorate, highly educated, not a student worker but an employee, they were warning against things like groupthink back then, which is really archaic if you ask me. I think in the least organized situations is where you're going to find or I should say the situations where behaviors aren't really in check, self-consideration is where you get a lot of those dynamics. I'd say groupthink is more of a playground dynamic than anything.
Yeah.
Like the loudest kid leads the group kind of thing. And if it's unchecked, it can go into adulthood and, just be really unproductive.
Well, think about it. Think about social media. Just take one moment. That's it. That's all I needed to say. All I needed to say was social media.
Yeah.
And the loudest, most seeming, and tons of fallacies, tons of biases. Oh, like, we could take one of these cards today, and I would invite you just to go out to any, just scroll around on social media, scroll around on Instagram, scroll around on, and just see where that's true, and go, oh, I will never be fooled by that again, or any other confirmation bias, belief bias, things like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one, I think.
Yeah. The Texas Sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Cherry picking data clusters to suit an argument or finding a pattern to fit a presumption. That the makers of sugarette candy drinks point to research showing that one of the 5 countries where sugarette drinks sell the most units, 3 of them are in the top 10 healthiest countries on earth. Therefore, sugarette drinks are healthy.
Woo! That's a good one. And that is, look at your advertising. Just go in, look at your advertising, see some of those fallacies that are out there. You will never be fooled again. Never.
I've got one we're all familiar with.
Yeah.
Appeal to emotion. Manipulating an emotional response in place of a valid or compelling argument. Sound familiar? Luke didn't want to eat his sheep's brains with chopped liver and Brussels sprouts, but his father told him to think about the poor, starving children in a third world country who weren't fortunate enough to have any food at all. So that's like a guilt trip.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Guilt trip. Yeah. And it's so interesting how valid it seems, guilt trips and things like that. Because there's a thing too. It's like when you're a good person, like you are, it's hard for us to not be manipulated by something like that, and put ourselves on the back burner, or put ourselves, our desires, our needs, or our wants, because somebody else is coming forward and saying, but I really need this thing more. And that's not okay. We do not have to sacrifice. There is no love in sacrifice. No love in sacrifice. Love is freely given and freely received. And if it's not, it is sacrifice. So taking a look at all these things that we've talked about over the last 22 episodes.
Wow.
22.
A lot of episodes. So many episodes.
So many episodes. I just greatly appreciate everybody that's joined us and come on and listen to us.
Also, look out for statements like "you need to" or "you should." Mm-hmm. Those are attack statements. Yeah. They're not intended to be oftentimes, but the person isn't aware of that they're taking your choice away, which is an attack.
When is the Blu-ray set coming? Like a video.
So you can see this with high def.
Sorry, the video quality will remain the same.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're
going in and out of light.
Extra features, like.
Yeah.
The extra features disc.
The extra features would look like Kyra and Todd tripping over the light set before we get to our seats. Trying to figure out how to position the
crawling underneath the light sets.
Correctly. Yep. It's a mess.
Yeah. No Love and Sacrifice. That is from Course in Miracles. Alicia. Yeah. If that's Alicia, I think it is.
No love and sacrifice.
Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you, Eileen.
Eileen has been attending almost every episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Live.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. All right.
Okay.
Well, you got a little refresher on MBTI.
I sure did. I sure did. I listened to one of Joel and Antonia's episodes at Personality Hacker. I listened to a ton of them years ago.
Yeah, I did too. Their stuff on sales and the different types of approaches for different personality types, mm-hmm. and what's important to each personality type.
That was an episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to do a training on that probably.
Yeah, there's different types. Yeah. Want the technology piece, or they want the they just want the results, or The others want to know that there's a community element involved. Different types of personalities have different reasons for purchasing, reasons for buying things.
Yeah. If you watched our episode yesterday, or if you haven't, we did a lot of deep diving into MBTI, and did a general introduction to it, kind of thing.
Your beard looks good today.
Oh, thank you.
Very straight up.
Oh, good.
Yeah, let's you want to dive into something?
Well, I just took some notes that I might use for our hypnotherapy students, teaching them about MBTI.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of review from what I said yesterday, for the most part.
Okay.
But I mean, I could go into it.
Yeah, let's do
more.
something. Do a little something.
Do a little something.
Do a little something.
So if you're unfamiliar with MBTI, if you're a holistic practitioner, first off, let me say that adding MBTI to your intake process will help you to achieve amazing things with your clients, because you're going to have a better understanding about how they learn and how they make decisions, which helps you to help them with whatever your holistic practice is better. And if you're working with them in a mental therapeutic sense, like life coaching or hypnotherapy, it's especially helpful to do that.
Yep.
MBTI is how your mind learns. It's how it gathers information, makes decisions. It doesn't mean behavior necessarily, but it influences behavior. Yeah.
Personalityhacker.com is where you can go out and get your free evaluation to find out what your letter MBTI code is. If you want to do that. I think we've got several INFJs on the call, INFPs,
right,
and ENFP. It's Carolyn.
Yep.
Jenica, I'm not sure what Jenica is. Might be an IS.
I don't remember. I don't know if we did it.
Because she's fancy. Such a pretty lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is kind of review. I mean,
okay. No, you don't have to. Let's just follow whatever other flow we've got. So here's a perceptual shift. If you'd like to be interested in this idea. I have the Osho Zen card deck. And so we have the Osho Oracle cards, which I used to do readings before I became a hypnotherapist. I did tarot card readings, intuitive readings, and I did Reiki and energy work. And based off the reading, I would then do the energy work based off of what I found. And so I've learned a lot about different types of, Zen philosophy and all kinds of stuff, just because that's something that's interested me along the way. And one of the stories was the master in the garden. And so a gentleman, kind of a self-important man, goes to seek out the master, and he goes to the temple where the master is. He's told the master is, and he looks outside and he notices there's a gardener, and he's kind of, just wearing his gardening clothes, and he's gardening, and the self-important man goes up to the gardener and he says, hey, where's the master? And the gardener goes, the master is in the house. And so the self-important man goes into the house, goes into the temple, and he walks in and he sees the gardener sitting on the throne of the master. And he goes, how dare you sit on that throne? How dare you be there? I just saw you in the garden. You can't tell me you're also the master. And the gardener goes, no, I'm the master. What can I help you with? And the self-important man goes, that is impossible. And he leaves, and he doesn't get the benefit of the help from the master, who is also the gardener. And so all kinds of things you can take from that perspective.
Cognitive bias.
Yeah, cognitive
expectation.
Narrow belief system.
I could talk about that for an hour.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Get comfortable. Get your popcorn. Well, the thing that stands out the most is, and I can relate to this, being a human being on the path of realization, is having expectations of what mastery is going to look like, and that those have to be debunked, right? Because you don't get to mastery by pushing and elbowing your way there. It's actually by laying down your sword and shield, laying down the defenses, taking personal responsibility and accountability, just considering yourself, and the pretentious guy thought, he was obviously in behavior by the way you told the story, and he was trying to control the situation somehow. He had an expectation in his mind, and he wanted the end result to be different. So he was in an attacking behavior. And he was thinking that it was probably challenging his belief system, because he was thinking that someone who is more masterful or a master would be an extension of the path that he's currently on. Like, he thought it would be his ego having supremacy in some way. And being the strongest kind of thing. But that's not it. And the master shows up with empty pockets and says, "Hey man, I'm powerless here." Meaning I'm not getting, I'm not trying to have power. Not projecting. I'm not getting and protecting. I'm not into power laden behaviors. I'm just me. There's, but if someone is really in ego and really in the behaviors, then they're going to be pissed to see that mastership is not an extension of a bigger, stronger ego.
Oh my God. Mastership is not the extension of a bigger, stronger ego.
Yeah. There's a rude awakening for a lot of people in that regard. Especially if they don't have any like spiritual background, kind of thing. So that's coming actually. But yes, it's a good lesson. I think the guy wasn't ready yet, and he just kind of popped out, because his beliefs were telling him that something else should be happening, right, than what was currently happening. Yeah. And you didn't see the master run after him saying, no, listen to me. No, I am a master. No, that's not what a master does. No. Master goes, Master doesn't convince.
Yeah, he'll be back or not.
He'll come back when he's ready.
Or not.
So that's the first thing that stood out to me.
That's a great awareness. Just let me reiterate. Mastership is not the extension of a bigger, stronger ego. It is not having, it is not getting, it is not having the most money. It's not having the most clients. It is not being the most aware of anything. It is just being, like Todd said, it's just being me. Yeah. How do you stay? Alicia saying, I believe it's still Alicia. How do you stay there in that quiet learning mastership, but still tell people who you are, like advertising a book? How do you stay humble? Right?
Well, stay out of behavior and just authentically express what it is you have to say about the book or yourself. And if you want to get fancy with copy, I mean, there's copywriting books out there on how to sell and advertise, even authentically.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a book in particular. We'll find that. It's called The Heart-Based Business.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Michelle P.W. Very good stuff. Yeah,
we'll pop that on.
We'll put that on the notes.
Alicia, this is big. And I'm glad you brought it up. I think you may already know the answer to this, and you might be asking for others, but if it is for you or anyone, we got to get to our why. Sure, we can all sit on the mountaintop and we can all quietly contemplate. We can go to a monastery. We can go hang with the monks. We can do that. There's something, once it's put in your heart to do, the universe kind of conspires to help you with that. And this is how I've had to get into my mind about it. The first thing that I did actually, it was like, I'm going to go woo with everyone because Alicia and I are like here on the woo. We got this.
Alicia's an INFJ, I think.
Yes, she is.
Virgo.
Is that I asked, I knew I was going to be undertaking something big when it came to publishing and stuff and things that were scary and things I didn't know. And I was like, you know, angels, guides, y'all, why does this even matter? Why does me even matter in all of this? And the answer that I got was, it's not about you. This is about the soul's development. And if you have something in your heart to do, it doesn't just help with your development, your soul, it helps others as well. And that's not ego. That is just saying the purpose, because it goes beyond this physical embodiment. It goes beyond this physical lifetime. Another way that it was explained to me, which I thought was really beautiful and helped me get through some tough times with that whole self-promotion thing, which we have an issue with as INFJs for sure, because we won't settle on an identity. I think that this is one of the things, but you know, we're not going to settle into I'm this thing, you know, and I'm only going to be this thing. So it becomes a little bit harder to be a bit more niched. But anyway, he said, a guy we ran into, he said, think about it like this. He said, do you know how, and this is going to be pretty heavy and maybe a little bit loaded, but do you know how much suicide affects a family? And I said, yes, I do. You know, he said, and it goes on for generations. When someone in a family releases this life, physical life, it causes a ripple effect throughout all of the ancestry. And and he said, if you can help someone shift that idea that they matter, that their life's important, that there are good things for them here still, and that they matter in this world, right? If you can help to bring someone to that understanding, because all of that other stuff isn't real. All the other stuff, all that other pain, all that other discomfort isn't real. Do you know that will affect change for the entire ancestry, backwards and forwards? And then that creates an additional ripple effect. Is that enough for you to continue doing this work? And of course, I just asked myself that question. I was like, yep, that is enough for me. And Alicia, your book, with all of your authors in that book, are talking about things that are can help people see the truth of the experience of pain that they have been in as being empaths. You know, so then we say, okay, can I market that? Yes, I can. You know, yes, I can. I can help people to see the truth of the situation that they're in so that they can feel more fulfilled and they can live a happier, healthier life. Yes, I can put that book out there. Yes, I can say good things about it. Yes, I can say good things about the authors and content within it, because it matters, right? That's my thought on it.
There's a whole that's wonderful stuff. And there's a whole wave of people who are going to be waking up after you, you know, and after us. And by allowing people a space to share their experiences, it's like a little piece of history that the right people find at the right time to help them understand their experiences.
Yeah.
As they wake up as empaths, perhaps, you know. So it's always a service. If you're giving people a space to express, experience, expand, and put it out there, it fills a need for expression, and I think that's why publishing has worked out like it has, because it gives people a space for expression and not having to fit into some other more restrictive mold, you know, but rather have the opportunity to be pretty free about what you can say in your writing and still be published about it, which is nice.
Yeah. I love that. I think Carolyn is kind of answering this question too, how to stay humble and how to stay quiet and learning, moving toward mastership is of myself, I do nothing. An embodiment of Holy Spirit, or the Holy Spirit is embodied within us. Is that how it works? Yeah. And all things are done by love through me. Right. So if you feel inspired and have just that, like you have that thing was placed in your heart, you did the thing, then allowing Spirit to show you how best to market that thing, it'll pull in all kinds of good stuff so that you don't have to worry about that. It'll be handled for you. At the same time, people need to know.
Yeah.
Let people know.
I think the most important thing is consistency, of promoting it. Like we do these lives every weekday, because they're fun, they're good for us. They promote our business, but we're not spending excessive amount of time promoting it. We're talking about all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But we're allowing people a way of connecting with us and doing stuff that we like to talk about.
Yeah.
So and we know from our Myers-Briggs that this is conducive to our personality type to do this in this way. Whereas in the past, I've made many efforts to promote in more traditional ways, and it was just hard because it wasn't leveraging my strengths as an INFJ, which perspectives, harmony, introverted intuition, extroverted feeling. Doing this type of stuff is effortless and energizing and fun, and joining, and whatever your functions are and your type, that's one of the biggest benefits of MBTI is to go with the grain of what you naturally do, instead of not knowing how you think and make decisions, and then trying to fit yourself into a mold, especially if you have a rarer type like an intuitive feeler. So it's important to really be authentic with whatever you feel led to do. And like even Abraham, Holy Spirit says this. Abraham Hicks says, don't focus on the how, focus on, ask the question, allow yourself to have fun, raise your vibration, and the how will be provided to you. This is also hypnotherapy 101, also just subconscious mind work. You can ask the question before bed, write it down even, and then wait for the answer. And sometimes it'll come in your sleep. Sometimes it'll come right when you wake up, or maybe the day after. But it usually comes.
It does.
Some form comes. Your mind will work to serve you, especially if you're asking Source for help. Your I am for help. The answer will be provided, and it'll be in a way that is doable for you.
Yes, it'll be fun and fine.
Because if it's an extension of
you do anything you wouldn't normally do.
Because if it's an extension of you, then you're going to naturally attract more people who are conducive to what you're offering. Look at your healing empath group that you have, your empath group. I mean, you've got, I think, several thousand people in there. I don't know how much you efforted that. To me, it just seemed like it's just a natural extension of, a safe place for people to express themselves. And that to me is pretty amazing. You could create a public group and have authors read excerpts out of the book on Facebook Lives after they've invited all their friends to this group. And the people who are most likely to buy your collab book are going to be people who are within the networks of the authors, first and foremost. So I'd start with a public group, starting with your authors and inviting everyone, and then just have fun with it. Get everybody on board with it. Yeah.
Got it. That is for everyone, even though we were addressing Alicia, there's that's a little something for everyone for sure. Especially if you own a business.
Yeah.
So
good.
What's next?
Golly, I feel so charged up with
I know.
spirit. All things are done by love through
Through
me.
me.
You're welcome.
All right.
Let's see. You tell me. We're usually about the time where we wind it down.
Okay.
I mean, I could keep going forever and ever, but people have other things to do, I'm sure.
What? You don't want to just hang out with us for the rest of the day? We're fun sometimes. Let's sit on the couch and watch TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TV is fun. Yeah, whatever you do, MBTI will help. You understand yourself, so you know how to show up in business, especially if you own a business. If you're not, so that you're not overly self-critical about how you're not measuring up to what other people do, letting the ego. Comparison is the ego's food.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's really about going more inward, finding out what you do, how you show up, and then just leveraging that. And it's you're going to know you're on the right track because it's going to feel more effortless and less effortful, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even if you don't look at MBTI at all, ask for guidance from yourself, from source, and then if it feels like it's a downstream thing to do, like something that is kind of a go with the flow kind of a thing, start there.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And what we would do when we saw clients too is we would have them do the personality hacker because it's the best test we feel online. And then when they filled out other information or we did homework or whatever, we would have them put in their 4-letter code, and that helped us to immediately start knowing where we wanted to work with someone, how to communicate with them better, that kind of thing. It's not about, and there was some nonsense on media around pigeonholing people using personality types.
No,
that is not
what it's meant for.
It's not what it's meant for. It's not why it was created. It's none of that.
See, there's the ego again. The ego comes in and makes an identity out of it and weaponizes it. I just listened to a podcast of Joel and Antonia today on Personality Hacker, and it was one of the early ones on MBTI, and they said this is not meant to pigeonhole people. This is not meant to put people in a box. It is a tool used to help you discover the map of the territory, but it's not the entire territory. Just because it's a helpful tool doesn't mean it's all you are, you know. So if you find your letters, you know, your types like, oh, I'm an INFJ. Oh yeah, INFJs. Da 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 da. Yep da da da. It's like, what the hell just happened? You know, I've been studying this stuff for years. You know, what did you learn in 10 minutes that your ego attached to? You know, there's a lot more involved, and you know, it's you know, the zodiac also gets kind of thrown around.
Yeah.
Like, well, so and so is a Cancer or a Sagittarius or whatever the heck it is, and professional astrologers are like, okay, people, chill out a little bit. There's a lot more involved than just your horoscope today.
Your sun sign.
So don't let the ego run into and make mountains out of molehills and make slippery slope.
Right.
Texas Sharpshooter, you know, whatever it was. You know, you find little bits of information and suddenly, okay, I am this, and this is my new identity. No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, don't make it that.
It's just helpful.
It's a helpful tool to help you understand yourself, leverage your strengths, understand and nurture your weaknesses, and be more effective for helping clients. And you can save a ton of time, and working with clients and helping them to feel seen and heard, and then be more effective in your therapy.
Yeah, for sure. Carolyn says, comparisons give birth to fear and separation. That is for sure.
Yes. Comparison is the ego's food.
Yeah. And Alicia says, I'm so glad I watched this. I just had a huge realization. I've been on the cusp of this realization for many, many years, but this pushed me over the edge. Yes, today was the right day at the right time. Thank you so much. Yay!
Well, thankfully, we also speak the same language as you.
Yes.
So it's easier to get the message when it's needed. So
yay. Very, very cool.
So happy for you, Alicia.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep on keeping on, girlfriend.
Keep on keeping on. Can't have no in your heart.
Can't have no in your heart, baby.
That's right. Just got to keep being a good person. Things will work out for me. I'm Joe Dirt.
Holy Spirit uses everything.
Holy Spirit uses everything. Even your goofy ass movie lines.
Oh gosh.
Crazy.
Well, this has been a delight.
Yeah, this has been a fun one.
22 episodes. Wow.
22 hours of bliss.
You spent almost a full day with us.
Wow. Yeah. Some people haven't missed any episodes.
Yes.
I think Kenny and Eileen have seen most of them.
Yeah.
Maybe all of them.
Yeah. So grateful for you guys. Happy Friday again. Go into your weekend filled with happiness and bliss. Trust this moment. Trust the next one.
If you're gonna see clients today or this weekend, use the fullness that you've done with your self-care just by showing up to this video and allowing yourself to be filled up, to shift, and then now you can go extend that love and fullness to your clients, to your family, to the world today and this weekend. Until we see you again on Monday.
Monday. All right, we'll talk to you later. Have a great one. Bye.